achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
Welcome, everybody. Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on achieveradio.com. Another wonderful week of great information coming straight to you from our very own Dr. Carolyn Dean, author of the Magnesium Miracle, as well as 38 other books, including IBS for Dummies, Hormone Balance, and Death by Modern Medicine, which is a great book. It's not in print anymore, but it's still an incredible insertion into the information that's out there about the effects of allopathic medicine and androgenic death. I believe I'm saying that properly, which is death that's caused by medicine. It's a fascinating book. Carolyn did a tremendous amount of research on it. And then, of course, she's got 110 Kindle books. Then she's got a radio show. She's got her own, very own formulas that she developed to be able to meet the needs of people that have magnesium mineral deficiencies and also yeast overgrowth syndrome, which is something that is not very easily understood. But, of course, Dr. Dean has been helping people with this since 1988. She's got an incredible following of people who are grateful, and I mean grateful, for the things that she does, the information she presents, all of the ways that she is on top of the medical community, on top of the natural health community, on top of government regulations and everything, navigating these seas fiercely. I just see her all of 4'11" inches of herself standing at the mast of a huge boat tossed about in this raging sea, and she's standing there in her purple outfit, completely and totally calm and just knowing exactly what's going on and no concerns whatsoever. We just love her so much. We're so happy that you're here tonight. And yes, I do absolutely want to introduce to you our very own Dr. Carolyn Dean.
Thank you, Ginny. Thank you. And instead of my intro, I'm going to do some cleanup on aisle 5 on Ginny's introduction. Okay, Ginny?
Oh, good.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Death by Modern Medicine, it's not available in a print book format, but it is available on Kindle and PDF on Amazon.
Oh,
so
yep,
you can
that's
get
true. Yep.
The updated version there. I update it every few years. The pronunciation is iatrogenic, and
okay.
Iatrogenic means relating to illness caused by medical examination or treatment. So that's where we're getting into a lot of the testing, the testing for screening people to see how soon they can be given drugs. That's all iatrogenic. And that's what Death by Modern Medicine was looking at, the over 1 million deaths annually causing premature death in unsuspecting patients. And I've been treating yeast since 1979 when I went into practice. 1986 was the year when Dr. William Krupp came up to Toronto, and we were both on a 90-minute television show where it was a big snowstorm in Ontario that night, and 80,000 people called into that show wanting to ask questions about yeast overgrowth. So it was the highest number of people who've ever called into that show, I was told in a special letter they sent me. And Ginny must have been talking about my avatar for our chat thought when she said I was 4'11". I am actually 5'1.25" tall. So I have. Yeah.
Now wait, I think that I know I'm 5'2". As a matter of fact, I was just measured the other day because of a certain dress I'm buying, and I think that you're much shorter than I am, Carolyn.
No. We will see about that. Okay, enough of the corrections. Do you have anything to say before I launch into the topic of the day?
Yes, I'm glad you cleaned all that up. That was a terrible, terrible introduction. I'll be probably fired by Bob by the end of the show. But I do want to point out that a lot of people do ask about death by modern medicine, and they do go to get the big book. They want a book, and so that's why I was kind of focusing on that. Yeah. But I'm glad it is, yes, of course, always updated. Very good. All right. No, I'm ready to go.
Okay, good. The topic that Ginny presents in her blog when she sends it out once a week to our RNA Reset blog readers is about magnesium and depression. And she's got a colon and then the good news. And the good news is about a study that was done. It was actually done last year, but Mike Adams of Natural News, he was kind of promoting it just recently, so it fell into our inboxes. And some of the statistics on depression are pretty depressing. World Health Organization says there's 300 million people living with depression worldwide. Some say it's 350 million. Huge increase, 18 to 20%. Between 2005 and 2015. And in this news release that was put out March 30th, 2017, and the quote is, "New clinical research results show magnesium is effective at addressing symptoms and is safer than prescription therapies." This is for depression, but it's for mild to moderate depression. I think it was just one email we received after we announced this blog that someone who obviously has severe depression thought that we were overselling magnesium. But what's awesome about this study is that it is the first one of its kind that is proving that people can take magnesium and have beneficial results in their moods. And with the symptoms of depression, I've written about this over the decades. And what we think about depression in the various symptoms is that they are symptoms of magnesium deficiency. Sleep disturbance. How many times have I said that the premier treatment for insomnia is magnesium? Fatigue or loss of energy, definitely a symptom of magnesium deficiency. We know that because the Krebs cycle, which produces ATP energy, requires magnesium in 6 of its 8 steps. People who have psychomotor agitation, just people who are kind of the muscles are irritated and they just can't keep still, that's a symptom of magnesium deficiency. Diminished ability to think or concentrate, another symptom. And then when you fail to treat the above symptoms with magnesium, then the following symptoms can develop. Diminished interest or loss of pleasure in most activities, depressed mood, appetite disturbance, feelings of worthlessness, recurrent thoughts of death or suicide. So those used to be the symptoms we were taught to look for when we were told to prescribe an antidepressant. But what I hear these days from people is that they can just go to the doctor and say, look, I'm tired, I'm apathetic, I'm not sleeping, I've lost interest in things, and they'll be immediately put on an antidepressant. And then what we know about antidepressants is that they may be effective in 40% of the cases. And also, I think there's a big push on for alternatives because we know that most, if not all, the high school shooters were on antidepressants. And what is it about antidepressants that causes people to go for suicide or homicide? It's that those feelings are kind of suppressed by the drugs. The feelings of apathy, I should say, are suppressed by the drugs, and then it gives a person enough energy or focus to carry out homicidal or suicidal thoughts. It's a known side effect of these drugs that has really been swept under the carpet. And this blog that Jenny wrote, it's a good blog. You should read it at drcarolyndeanlive.com. I can't read it all because there's so much to talk about. But in this study, it was only 248 milligrams of elemental magnesium that was used. That's a very low dose. I mean, we're saying in our REMAG solution that it's important for a person to get 600 milligrams if they're trying to treat a condition, sometimes up to 1,200 milligrams. So 248 is quite low. So it's remarkable that they had the results that they did. The study itself, I want to give kudos to Emily Tarleton, Tarleton. She's got a master's, a registered dietitian's license, and she's a certified dietitian. She's a graduate student in clinical and translational science and the bionutrition research manager, University of Vermont's Clinical Research Center. Now, you may not have heard this term. I hadn't. Transitional science. What that does, it connects biomedical and clinical studies to changes in clinical practice, the health of communities, and health policy with the clear objective of having a positive impact on health. Now, this is awesome in itself to learn about this transitional science because this is what drove the Alturas crazy. Burton and Bell Altura, they did the foreword to my Magnesium Miracle books, and they are bench researchers in magnesium. They've got over 1,000 studies under their belts, 1,000 studies. And when I was casting about to find out if they would forward my book, I was told by people that no, they're in their ivory tower, their science ivory tower at the university. They won't get involved with a public book. But by the time I got around to asking them in the year, was it 1999, they said, yeah, we're fed up with the fact that nothing we are doing in our scientific bench research is translating clinically into any sort of application. So this is what Emily Tarleton has done. She has taken what we know about magnesium and its benefits, and she's done believe it or not, the first clinical trial of giving magnesium to depressed people. And the results were beneficial to the point that they concluded that they were at least as effective as SSRIs without any of the side effects. So magnesium supplementation provides a safe, fast, and inexpensive approach to controlling depressive symptoms. So it's pretty awesome. They use magnesium chloride, which is the magnesium we use in REMAG. They had, 126 adults in outpatient primary care settings, They took the data from 112 people, and the positive effects were shown quickly at 2 weeks. Supplements were well tolerated, et cetera. I found interesting that only 61% of the participants said they would take magnesium in the future. The most common reason for a negative response was that magnesium did not help their mood, followed by they had side effects, and the most common side effect was diarrhea. Now, in the ones that it didn't help the mood, I would, of course, be using more magnesium. The side effect of diarrhea, of course, Remag is pretty much non-laxative to the vast majority of people who take it. What I clipped from the Magnesium Miracle 2017 edition as to why magnesium is going to be helpful here in depression, and again, mild to moderate depression. Magnesium works with serotonin. Actually, serotonin depends on magnesium for its production. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that elevates mood. Dopamine, a neurotransmitter that helps control the brain's reward and pleasure centers, utilizes magnesium in several steps in its biochemical pathway. A magnesium-deficient brain is more susceptible to allergens and foreign substances, which in some instances can cause symptoms similar to mental illness. Magnesium is also important in postpartum depression. And, of course, zinc is in our Remite formula, which we definitely recommend to pregnant women. The other clips I have, magnesium supports the adrenal glands, which are overworked by stress, leading to combined magnesium deficiency symptoms and adrenal exhaustion symptoms of anxiety, depression, muscle weakness, fatigue, eye twitches, insomnia, anorexia, apathy, apprehension, poor memory, confusion, anger, nervousness, and rapid pulse. And then I re-mentioned serotonin, and also magnesium deficiency has been strongly linked to sleep disorders, which can either cause or increase anxiety. In the book, I have a sentence that I really like. How do we graduate from being a calm person in control of our nervous system to an anxious, fearful individual? I think it's due to a gradual but chronic decrease in magnesium reserves. When the body is stressed, and it can be for a dozen different reasons, our magnesium reserves dump this crucial mineral into our bloodstream, and we immediately become one of those people blessed with the ability to cope. We're both calm and alert. Our friends and relatives think that it's just who we are, but it's really how much magnesium we have in reserve. And I think that's what's happening. If you have the reserve because you've been taking our Remag and you build up your stores, then you can deal with a lot of this stress. There was, where is it? I think Ginny had this quote from the book in her blog. It's a testimonial from the Magnesium Miracle. The quote, and this is a UK customer of ours who said, "My friend said she was suffering from dreadful stress and feeling constantly anxious with a tight pain constantly around her chest. One of her relatives was dying of liver failure and another had an elevated PSA test. I suggested she try some Remag that her husband was taking. I think she thought it would be a waste as it wouldn't change the situation. Fortunately, she did try it, and literally a few days later she started to feel better. The pains went away, as did her nightly cramps, and the constant feeling of tension lessened to such a degree she felt she could cope once more. She said the Remag really helped her through what was an incredibly stressful situation." So that's what we're looking at with Remag, with magnesium, building up enough to make a difference. And the The blog that I mentioned earlier about someone who thought we were glossing over the situation, I take her as being depressed and very stressed. She says, I just got your announcement for tonight's radio show. I have never listened in. I don't plan to. I don't know how to. But anyway, ... She says, my doctor has prescribed that I take Remite and later Remag. She has not suggested any other of your products. I did try the protein powder stuff. I was hoping it could be a meal replacement for my breakfast on travel days when I needed a quick yet nourishing breakfast. That product did not work for that purpose at all. I do not like it at all. Yuck. Won't buy it again. So that was interesting because I don't know that anyone has ever said restructure is yucky. And she wasn't, it seems like she's not a direct customer of ours, but maybe got her products through the practitioner. If Ginny and I ever do outreach to practitioners, as we probably will at some point, doing webinars for practitioners, we'd give some support on these things. Like, for example, with Restructure, if it's yucky just in water, there's so many recipes you can use, et cetera, to make it delicious. So, I really don't think it's a yucky product. But anyway, she goes on. The Remite and Remag are gross also, very hard to get down. I put in about 3 ounces of room temperature water and chug it down as fast as I can, then take a bite of some kind of food immediately afterward to cover the nasty taste. And then she says, it is part of my daily torment, but I keep taking it. Now, I don't really want people to take something if it's tormenting them. I mean, that's kind of a real negative kind of embellishment on what you're doing to try to make yourself healthy. What we recommend all over the place, and again, if this person would have been calling into customer service, we would have given a lot of support on that, either diluting it in much more water, making sure you're drinking your water guidelines of taking your body weight in pounds and drinking half that number in ounces of water, put in the sea salt, put your Remag and Remite in the water and dilute it right down. I'm doing mine at about 6 ounces with a half a teaspoon of lemon juice concentrate, and I don't even taste it. So there's definitely ways that you don't have to continue tormenting yourself. Been taking Remite since December 2016, now at 1 teaspoon twice a day. After testing in the fall of 2017 showing I still have low minerals for everything. Been taking Remag since June 2017, taking 1 1/4 teaspoons twice a day for a total of 2 1/2 teaspoons, both doses prescribed by my doctor. I've been taking both of these for a relatively long time as compared to what I have read in some of the testimonials you send out. So for me, I would be advising 3 to 4 teaspoons and asking your doctor to look at low-dose lithium as the next step. We do also recommend True Hope's Empower Plus for more severe depression, but I think this is the person who said she couldn't take Empower Plus. Later, so with the lithium, that's something that, as I said, you should ask your doctor about. She continues, I felt some relief in the cramps I used to have. I still get restless legs sometimes, so to me that means there's not enough magnesium for what a person is burning off and to build up the stores. She said, I ran low on Remag once and the leg cramps started to come back, so I know something is working there. So far, I don't feel any relief of the depression that the last advertisement says should happen with sufficient magnesium. Well, that's the problem. It's probably not sufficient for this person. I've been prescribed several different antidepressants in years past, which did nothing for me except very unpleasant side effects like panic attacks. So no more antidepressant drugs for me. For this reason, I have a hard time believing your claims that the small amount of magnesium is a solution to relieve depression. Well, we're not necessarily making those claims. That's the study claims. It is for mild to moderate depression. We're making that very clear in this show that it's the case for mild to moderate depression. And even so, the way this study should have gone is everybody should have had an ionized magnesium test before the study started, and then see the levels, and then give the magnesium, and then do ionized testing to see if the levels increase, and see if the people who had low ionized magnesium to start are the ones with the more severe depression, and see how long it takes for the ionized magnesium levels to improve and if that matches the symptoms. So there's still a long way to go to do these studies properly. So she continues, for this reason I have a hard time believing your claims that the small amount of magnesium is a solution to relieve depression. Just so you have a different point of view. So she's saying, she's writing this, so I have a different point of view. I'm certain, she says, that you would never advertise a negative comment, but you should at least know about the other side. Well, I mean, I don't take this as a negative comment about the products, but it shows a level of cynicism of someone who has just not found relief and hasn't worked with our customer service to fine-tune what they're taking. You know, I'm sorry about that. It's everybody is different. And she does ask, though, do you have any alternative suggestions for me? I have a very long history and list of meds and supplements I don't feel inclined to include here, hypothyroid, low adrenal function. Thanks for any comments. So she's still open to improvement, and I've said above more Remag, look into low-dose lithium, and I think I don't know if there was any testing involved. Unless it's ionized testing, I'm not that keen on blood testing. I know I do tell people to get magnesium RBC testing, and oftentimes it's mistranslated because I really do want people to go by their clinical symptoms when they're working with magnesium. And as this person indicated, she still has magnesium deficiency symptoms. And then with depression, I meant to look up total biology and see if I had any entries about depression. So let me just type that in. Depression. Sleepiness is said. Insomnia is said to be a type of depression. Depression, loss of territory, I can't mark my territory, or general human conflict in my territory, verbal fights, arguments, criticism. So those, I mean, there's a lot more to it, but those are the things that I've lined up here. It can be someone who has a job where they're constantly having to fight for their, well, even human rights on a job, or loss of territory. So there are things that a person could look at in terms of total biology. It's not psychiatric in any way. It's just how the body's going to respond if it feels threatened. And, of course, with total biology, we recommend Dr. David Holt, who is just incredible for helping people see where the conflict in their world can be causing mental, emotional, physical symptoms. Okay, so that is a blog question. Let me get this next one. There weren't that many that came in. Maybe Jenny has more. person says, I've been off clonazepam for 5 years, and I'm still suffering greatly. Now, clonazepam, that's a brand name Klonopin. It's a benzodiazepine, which are really hard to withdraw from. I don't know all the mechanisms involved with how they affect the body, but magnesium deficiency is one of them. It's used to treat seizures, panic disorders, and it's also a tranquilizer. And it just, along with like Valium and Ativan, it just became a drug that people were given to treat anxiousness and panics, which can be magnesium deficiency. And instead of looking at the package insert that says just used for short term only, 2 weeks, people are on them for years. This woman says, I attempted to use magnesium as a sleep aid, and while I was able to get into a deeper state of sleep, I also suffered terrible nightmares. Do you know of anything I could do to prevent the nightmares but still reap the benefit of magnesium? So the nightmares, I haven't heard that. It could be a deficiency of the B vitamins, which do affect dreams. I personally would look at Realign to be taking a good methylated B, food-based B, that might work in concert with Remag to help this person with sleep and not cause nightmares. One more here. I have a dear friend suffering from the worst case of depression I've ever seen. Her question is, will magnesium help? She's no longer taking her vitamins and minerals and not taking any medication. Well, this is not something we're talking about here. We're really not talking about severe depression. And I often don't talk about it because over the phone, on the radio, with our customer service people are not doctors. They can't give you advice about severe depression. We always say, go to your doctor, get assessed. If you want to take supplements, look at Empower Plus's studies. They've got a couple dozen studies now showing the effectiveness of Empower Plus, EMPOWER+, at truehope.com. And they have a staff that gives support to help people wean off medications. We don't do that. The reason we're talking about this today is because this study has come out into the open, and I wanted to talk about it in terms of mild to moderate depression, which can be magnesium deficiency, and we've seen that over and over again when people take our Remag. Ginny, let me do one more. This is a person who's factored in the too much too soon of Remag, and I wanted to make a point here. She says, I've been magnesium deficient since 2011, if not before. Muscle tic spasms, anxiety, musculoskeletal injuries, insomnia, hair loss. I bought both versions of your book, worked my way up on magnesium citrate to 1,200 milligrams without diarrhea, spraying magnesium oil on 4 to 5 times a day. This reduced muscle tics, anxiety. My hair started growing, but I still have some tics, some anxiety, plus insomnia. I was able to come off codeine. I take no medication now. Even with the high dose, 1,200 milligrams of magnesium citrate, I would only get 2 hours sleep, wake up, and I have to spray myself to get rid of back pain to be able to get back to sleep for another 2 hours. I tried your Remag 2 days ago on quite a high dose, as I had already been consuming a high dose via citrate and spraying. I slept for 7 hours, only waking once to spray with mag oil. The next day I got a mild headache with the first teaspoon in tomato juice at breakfast. So we all know what's happening here is you cannot jump in and replace, I think she replaced Remag for the magnesium citrate. Took it in the whole teaspoon dose. Because what you're dealing with is from taking a magnesium citrate, which is probably about 20% absorbed, enough to sort of give you a daily amount and reduce some of the symptoms, but not 100% absorbed into your cells to start revving up all your enzyme systems. So the next day, mild headache, took a teaspoon late in the afternoon, so that's 3 teaspoons. And headache got worse. Took another dose in cocoa. Yeah, a total of 3 teaspoons in 24 hours. And I think it was just the headache. She doesn't say too much more. So what we did was just tell her to stay with the mag citrate and start slowly with a 1/4 teaspoon of Remag and slowly increase it until she starts getting the laxative effect with the citrate, and then wean off that as you continue to increase your Remag. She says she came off her calcium, and et cetera, et cetera. She talks about her diet. She would like to take Remag because it's more convenient than other therapies. And I'd like to stop spraying myself all the time and start living. Yes, that you would go to Remag lotion because it doesn't irritate the skin. She's wondering about calcium. She says I cut dairy, eggs, anything that was higher in calcium than magnesium 5 months ago because of my book. Could a lack of calcium be causing the headaches when I take Remag? No, I shouldn't be doing that. But we sent her our calcium guidelines, 600 milligrams of calcium from diet or Recalcia, balanced with at least 600 milligrams of magnesium. But someone with symptoms, they may need to take 900 to 1,200 milligrams of Remag and build it up. So basically, even when you've been taking lots of another type of magnesium, it's usually so far below in absorption, below Remag absorption, that you always have to go slow. So I think I'll stop now. I've been talking for a long time, so I'll turn you over to Ginny and see what she wants to do with us.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Carolyn. That was great and very comprehensive, and I know that a lot of our listeners will appreciate hearing it, and also the replay and all the rest of that. It's a great thing for the archive. And I am appreciative of you reading the gal's email and just her sense of things. And we get negative complaints all the time, and I don't consider them negative either. I think they're just uneducated. For the most part, people are so, bombarded with contrary information, and also some people are very disappointed that they've had to endure the health challenges that they've had to endure for the length of time. And so, yeah, I agree with you completely. We take all calls. We take all people. We love people. And we love to win when people don't think they're going to have a victory in their health. And we see it all happen all the time, so we know it's absolutely possible. Okay, now let's see. We've got questions on the chat line, and we've got callers who want to chitty-chat with you. So let's do a few questions, and then we'll take our phone calls. And let me just tell people that if you want to talk to Dr. Dean tonight, 602-666-6027 is the number to call. And then when you get on the phone, you've got to hit *5. *5 is going to raise your hand in the studio and let us know if you have a question or comment. And then we put you on the show with Dr. Dean. Okay, so let's see.
Ginny, let me just respond. Ginny reminded me that we stopped telling people a lot about Empower Plus because they were telling people to stop taking Remag. And when I had that happen to me, when I was still doing consulting, and people would get back to me and say, well, they told me to stop Remag. I said, well, don't stop Remag. Just keep taking it, for Pete's sake.
For Pete's sake.
They're giving you a and they do high-dose magnesium. A lot of times it causes diarrhea, so you want your Remag. So if you take Empower Plus and they tell you to stop Remag, don't listen to that part of their journey, okay?
That's right. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so Julia typed in, Jude, just hang in there. You're on star 5. I see you on the thing, and I know that you're here, and I'm definitely going to grab your call next, okay? So you're all right. Yep, you're good. And let me just read this question from Julia. Okay. She says, I want to understand why DHEA and prednisone help with depression and if magnesium depletion would impact the production of either one of these.
Well, the DHEA is a master hormone, and does she say prednisone or pregnenolone?
Pregnenolone. Sorry, pregnenolone.
And pregnenolone is kind of a master hormone, too. It helps downstream improvement in our hormones. And so if the depression is caused by a hormone imbalance, and they are going to help. But that's not something that we can get involved in talking too much about because that's very medically oriented. I'm afraid that's something you'd have to talk to your practitioner about. A naturopath should know about those hormone precursors. So they'll help to balance the hormones. What we do would be slower than that. I mean, when I used to ever recommend DHEA or pregnenolone, it would just be for a maximum 3-month period so that the person wouldn't get dependent on that type of medication. The lithium, I don't know if that helps the hormone balance aspect of depression, but that's kind of the step we go to next, just to tell people to ask their doctor about low-dose lithium. So I hope that
okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you not said before that DHEA, magnesium is important in making DHEA?
It probably is. I would have to check my my book for that. I forget. If you think I said it, I probably said it.
Okay.
I'm looking up Magnesium Miracle DHEA. No, I don't have
because
it.
she's okay, and she's also asking if magnesium depletion would impact the production of either of these hormones.
It probably does, but I'm just looking up. I don't know if I've seen any studies that say that. But remember, actually, Norman Shealy, he did work with magnesium oil and said that the magnesium oil stimulated DHEA receptors and helped the production of DHEA. That was what it was. I might have taken that out of this edition, 2017 edition, because I couldn't find any, true scientific documentation of that statement. So I really couldn't leave it in there. But, that's some of the thinking, that transdermal magnesium can help the production of DHEA, but I can't confirm that.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Okay, wonderful. All right, excellent. Okay, and then Super Dougie typed in and said, take GABA. It saved my life with anxiety and depression. It's natural and inexpensive. Now, Super Dougie takes all of our products, so I don't know. What do you think, Carolyn, about the GABA thing?
Well, we can't give recommendations like that. Super Dougie can because he's not under the FDA gun. And people will find different things that work. Certainly GABA does depend on magnesium. And as I said before, what we are doing is something that's slower. I think it's tried and true. If people want to work with other substances, they can try to do that. I'm not opposed, but it's not something that we can really talk about or that I have really spent a lot of time working working with. So I can't, I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay, very good. And what is GABA? Is it a supplement or something?
It is a supplement, and here's an interesting study where magnesium and GABA, they have done a little research on it. I don't have time to sort of do the research while we're on the phone right now, but GABA and magnesium together, brain boosting anxiety buster power of GABA supplement. That's our Dr. Axe. But you have to be careful. We do recommend you start with the complement formulas, and then if your symptoms aren't totally to your liking, then look at other remedies. But you can't forego the magnesium as the basis.
Right. Very good. Excellent. Okay, wonderful. And let's see also, let's go to, let's see. Hope is asking, is there a certain type of magnesium that's better than other types? I read that one type isn't good to take in general, and I think she's talking about not brands like our brand Remag, but like magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate or magnesium, orotate, or all these different confusing things. People get really confused about that.
Well, the ones that I say next to, that would be the magnesium aspartate and the magnesium glutamate, because they can break down into those amino acids that become irritating to the brain neurotransmitters. And I get that from neurosurgeon Russell Blaylock from his book Excitotoxins. So those are the ones I don't recommend for the brain reasons. Magnesium oxide I don't recommend because it's basically a laxative. It's only 4% absorbed, so you're not getting much at all for your cells. And the rest of them are kind of so-so compared to the stabilized ions that you get with Remag. And as we share with you all the time, when people switch from other brands to Remag, then the body really starts improving because you're getting the magnesium directly absorbed into your cells.
Excellent. Julia typed in and she said, I tried a new thing today. I took a shot of magnesium and then I did my tapping on, even though I feel depressed today, I totally love and accept myself and forgive this depression. One time through on all the points and the intensity lifted and she was back to functional. So I thought that was very sweet for her to share that. Like you said, Carolyn, everybody's got different strategies, and I know we did talk a little bit about tapping and stuff when we did our Labyrinth of the Mind webinar. So Julia, just shoot me an email at support@rnareset.com, and I'll shoot you that webinar. It was very good and inspiring, I think. Right, Carolyn?
Right. Which one was that?
The Labyrinth of the Mind.
Oh, Labyrinth of the Mind, right.
Yeah, and we talked about that.
There's the tapping modules, and actually our webinar in, May, is going to be on anxiety, and we'll be giving out the tapping modules. And you could give that to Julia now if you like. But it sounds like she knows about tapping. But, yeah, we definitely work with tapping. I think in my anxiety booklet, magnesium and, magnesium deficient anxiety, we probably talk about tapping. It is very important.
Yes, she said actually it was the our webinar that got her back into tapping. That's sweet. Okay, wonderful, Julia. That's very sweet. Man. Excellent. Okay, well, let's chitty-chat with Jude. I know he's been trying to get through to you, Carolyn. I say he, but I don't know. I'm always thinking of Jude Law because he's so cute. But maybe it's a young lady, so I don't know. But should we take that phone call?
Yes, we have 6 minutes.
Okay, here we go. Area code 503. We're out in Portland. You're on live with Dr. Carolyn Dean.
Sorry to disappoint. I'm a female.
Oh.
So since I'm limited on time, let me just ask you as quickly as possible. I've just recently purchased all your products. I'm trying to sort out how to take it all for myself, which is great. And part of my goal with purchasing or searching and finding you was I have a brother who is a drug addict who lives in my home. As far as I know, he's only smoking pot right now, which I don't even want that. But my biggest challenge, I think, is, he's gone to rehab. I took him actually to Dr. Daniel Amen's clinic for a period of time. I don't know if you're familiar with who he is. And he was doing well, and he was actually doing very well, and he was on multivitamins, coincidentally, including GABA. But he also was on a very small amount of Abilify, but because drug addicts tend to be con artists, he talked the psychiatrist or psychologist, whichever, I can't remember, into taking him off the Abilify, and he's gone downhill since then. So my question is, he won't at this point willingly take anything. Is there any way to cleverly disguise, I've tasted it. And clearly,
dude, let me give you the quick answer here to see if it might be useful.
And let me just throw one thing out. How about humidifiers or anything like that? Is that a possibility? Okay, now I'll shut up.
Well, what we do with people, we had a testimonial the other day about a customer whose mother with rheumatoid arthritis, 90 years old. She wouldn't do anything by mouth that her daughter wanted her to do. So the daughter got our Remag lotion, put it in her body lotion bottle, and within, I don't know if it's 3 or 6 months, her rheumatoid factor blood test changed, all her blood improved, her mood improved, her rheumatoid nodules started going away. So can you get your brother doing a body cream?
I can just put it in his room. I bought your lotion. I can certainly buy more. I've given him, I've given him, tons of Epsom salts to whenever he takes baths. So he does it on occasion. So, he, as far as anything regular, I can't get him to do anything. He's messed up. He's so chemically imbalanced at this point that I can't imagine anything is going to hurt, and I'm just looking for any possible, suggestions, which, like I said, I did buy the lotion, so I'll give that to him, and then I'll buy more for myself. But then I like your idea about the vaporizer that you can just safely do, putting the Remag. Get some sort of recipe from your pharmacist about how to use those. I think you can use it as a concentrate. There's a little well, W-E-L-L, in these vaporizers where you can put a, quote, medication that will then take up the vapor and vaporize it into the air. But a pharmacist should be able to help you with that. But, yeah, that's a smart idea as well. Okay, that's really what I was wondering, if that was safe. If you knew, because I was wondering if you would know the recipe, or if I need to go back and speak with a pharmacist, then I'll do that. But that's really what I was wondering.
Yeah, the way Remag is, it's very concentrated. So what you'd have to do is just put it and get a vaporizer, put it into, and it has to be a vaporizer that distributes drugs. I mean, it's a special type of vaporizer, as you probably know.
Right.
And just breathe it yourself and see if it seems, too concentrated. I would think, the more I'm thinking about it, I would probably dilute it half and half with saline water. That's what I would do.
Okay. Well, I have actually a vaporizer that I purchased not so long ago. Now, here's the question is, this one that I bought can do both hot or cold. Should it be hot or cold, or would you know?
Personally, I'm just talking about what I would do for myself. I'm not giving a medical recommendation here.
No, I understand that. Right.
I would do hot. I would do steam. I would do hot water. It would go further.
Okay. So then just ask a pharmacist how much they think I should.
Well, if you've got a medical vaporizer already, then you're ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. So those are, and then I actually purchased everything that you have. Except for except for the concentrated Renew, I just got the one with the Rebob or whatever.
Right.
So there's really just so my question is, should I do only the Remag, or should I put anything else in there as well?
Oh, I see. I would just start with the Remag.
Okay.
We're at the top of the hour. Let us hang in there just one more minute, Jude. We'll come back right after the station break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
By visiting drcarolyndean.com. Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
Think of something you hadn't had in a while, like a crazy Italian cream cake, and have it show up, and you not do a thing. You already think of people, and they ring you on the phone now, don't they? Well, reinforce that. And what you'll find then, very quickly, is that there'll be a little cadence. Now, that's a fun way of describing frequency. We call it frequency. And if you frequently get your frequency on, that'll help you in the aligning of frequency. Remember in the old days in the radio, you'd be driving along, and you'd have to have the knob, and you'd turn it to get it right on station so it'd be clear? Well, you were adjusting your tuner to pick up on that frequency completely. It made no difference how loud the volume was. You get it right on the station, get it right up, and then you could crank it up, and you can have it just as loud as you can stand it. But the easier way to go at this is focus on the frequency of your frequency, and then you'll notice a rhythm or a cadence. And then the rhythm or the cadence will allow you to easily identify and connect with that frequency, or allow your tuner to more easily hit the nail on the head.
AchieveRadio.com. Here we go now. Go to the Carolyn. Here we go now. Here we go now. The wellness scene with Dr. D. Here we go now. Here we go now. Go to the Carolyn. The wellness scene with Dr. D.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Hour 2, live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on achieveradio.com. And as we left the last hour, Dr. Dean was talking with Jude in Portland, Oregon, and we're going to complete that conversation and then move on. Go ahead, ladies, please.
Yes, Jude. In the break, I began to think that I got pulled into giving a medical recommendation there for your brother. And I have to pull that back and just say that you're using, if you choose to use a vaporizer to replace magnesium in the atmosphere, that's something that's up to you. It's got nothing to do with any health condition or medical condition. And this is going to sound very bizarre, but do you work for the FDA?
No. No, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Because that's what can happen to us here on the radio show or in customer
I know, and I don't
service.
and I don't want that to happen to you. I promise. I was excited that you were an ND and an MD. No, I'm actually a flight attendant.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yes, you do need the formulas because you're under massive stress all the time. And one more thing, Jude, I know people have probably cautioned you about this, but it's hard for you to take on another whole human being as your responsibility. It's not your job, but I've seen it over and over. Sisters, mothers, brothers who somehow just feel so responsible that they're taking on the burden. So you really have to take care of yourself as well, correct?
Right. I agree. That's, like I said, I bought all their products primarily for myself first, and if it can help him too, great. So,
right. Well, bizarre as it sounds, again, taking the RNA drops, when you're exhaling the RNA drops into his atmosphere, that can be helpful to him. So you will notice a change.
Okay, awesome. Well, I just barely got your product this week, so there's nothing to see yet. But
okay.
I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you, and I hope to give you a good report sometime down the road.
Yes, yeah. Keep us posted, and you can call in and ask questions anytime, okay?
Oh, okay, thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Bye, Jude.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, excellent. Here I am multitasking, Carolyn. Here we are. Very good. All right, let me go ahead and go to the next caller. Oh, my callers keep dropping. 602-666-6027 is the number to call if you want to talk with Dr. Dean tonight. And then if you do and you're on the phone, you've got to hit *5 on your keypad. *5 is going to raise your hand and let us know if you have a comment for Dr. Dean. So you've got to hit *5. And I can put you into the studio with her. Okay, now, there we go. Let's see. Area code 830, great state of Texas. Are you on your speakerphone?
Who is it that you're talking to?
I'm talking to you. Were you on your speakerphone? Hello?
It sounds like Bob. Whenever someone phones Bob, he asks the first question. We're on the radio. Would you like to ask me a question? My name is Carolyn Dean.
Yes, hi. Hi, I'm Connie.
Hi, Connie.
I'm sorry, I guess I didn't know how that worked in the beginning here with putting your hand up and everything. And then I heard a different name and I didn't hear my name, so okay. Thank you for taking my call, first of all. I was just wondering if you could help me with a situation that has recently happened. First of all, let me say that I definitely fit the description and having the symptoms for many years of depression and muscle twitches and insomnia and panic and anxiety attacks, which also now has recently, over the last several years, AFib flutters have started happening. And I found you and the Remag and everything about 7 months ago. And so I've been taking the Remag and Remite for 7 months. And I'm up to now 2.5 to 3 teaspoons of Remag and 1.5 teaspoons of Remite. Plus I've been taking some magnesium taurate and magnesium spray. And and I have definitely noticed a big difference in my symptoms dissipating. I was sleeping fine and, feeling calm and like I can handle things. Okay. And my irregular heartbeat had definitely decreased, but I was still having some about once a month. Then I got a really bad cold 2 weeks ago. Lots of chest congestion and coughing, lots of coughing, and got very, very weak and just feeling yucky. And I started getting irregular heartbeat symptoms.
Yeah.
During that time, and in more frequent, like every day. I've never had the palpitations every day, and then sometimes at night, during the middle of the night, I'd never had that. So, I was just wondering.
You want me to tell you what's going on?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on, Connie, is that your body got used to having a certain amount of magnesium that was making you feel level. And then when you had that terrible cold, it burned off your magnesium faster and faster. And then what it had been helping, all of a sudden you're almost like in magnesium withdrawal because your body got used to a certain amount. And now you don't have that same amount. When you go through stressful things that burn off magnesium, it's really good to increase your REMAG. So people tell us all the time that they'll get to a point in their REMAG, and if they take a little more, they might get the laxative effect, so they know they're saturated. But then they'll have a bit of a crisis, and they take more REMAG, and they don't get the laxative effect because their body needs it and uses it and doesn't dump it in the bowels. So does all that make sense?
Yes, definitely does. Yes.
And you're still at the 7-month mark. I mean, the first month or so, you're slowly building up. So you've only been taking it regular and that amount for 5-6 months, and it can take a year and a half or more to really build up your stores. So I'm not saying you're at the beginning of therapy, you're well into it, but you do have a ways to go, which should make you feel happy that, wow, I can still improve. I can still get better. I can get to the point where I'll have an upset and I won't get back into my irregularity. But yeah, it's quite common that you almost think you're worse when the body has gotten used to having that magnesium help all 700-800 different enzymes functions, and then boom, it's gone to take care of your cold. And so it's like your body's rebelling and saying, give me that stuff back. I'm desperate here.
Okay, I get it. I can definitely feel that. And so not asking you to tell me what to do necessarily, but so I get that I should up my magnesium a little bit and just keep on it. Just keep on it.
Exactly.
And,
yes.
Yeah.
Keep going up. I personally had to go to 4 teaspoons for, a fair amount of time. And then when I started Remite after I'd been on REMAG for a year or more, I needed less REMAG. And now, many years later, I'm only on 1 teaspoon a day. So that's what you can look forward to is once you get your stores built up, then you'll need less and less. You'll get to the laxative effect if you take more than your cells are able to hold. The other thing is I want to make sure to ask, with this horrible cold, did you end up taking antibiotics?
No, I didn't.
Oh, good.
I have been I'm a person that wants to go natural all the way. I've not taken prescription drugs. I would always want to treat anything with natural remedies. food, supplements, and that sort of thing. So that kind of leads me to another short question here. When I was diagnosed 2 years ago with AFib, went into the hospital with an AFib, episode. Yeah, I didn't want to say attack. I'd say episode, which is a lot more friendly, I guess.
Yeah, you're right.
First the cardiologist there put me on diltiazem, and that was very foreign to me. But I did it, and the doctor had said, well, you're going to have to be on this for the rest of your life, and so I thought, oh gosh, I'm okay. But I had gone on it thinking, well, no, that doesn't feel like it's in alignment with me. I really don't want to be doing that the rest of my life at all. And so I've definitely been feeling for quite a while like weaning off, getting off of that pharmaceutical, the prescription.
Right.
And so now then this happened.
Let me say these words, Connie. I call it diltiazem. I forget some of the letters in there, but it's it's a calcium channel blocker.
Yes.
And it is magnesium is a natural calcium channel blocker.
And
so,
I know that.
In the midst of having more episodes, you don't want to wean off, that's for sure. But as things improve, then you'll get to the point where you won't have the AFib symptoms that sound like they were caused by magnesium deficiency in the first place. And there can come a time with these medications where some of what you're feeling in terms of not feeling so well is actually a drug side effect.
I was wondering that.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm looking up diltiazem now to find out if it has a side effect of arrhythmias, because some of them do.
I was concerned about that.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I don't know if it does, but it's almost like the body, it's like a spectrum of these drugs. They at low amounts they may help, but then higher amounts they may cause the symptoms that they're trying to get rid of. It's hard to describe, but I am amazed when I look at some of the side effects of these drugs, and they're causing the effects that they're trying to prevent. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling on here, but what
I do have a naturopath doctor that I go see, and I know that she is supportive, and I have shared with her all about the Remag and Remite and your whole protocol and everything, and she is definitely into that and supportive. I'm just kind of hanging on to the diltiazem, I guess right now, feeling unsettled about that.
Of course.
And I have not in touch with the cardiologist that prescribed that in the first place. So
right.
I hear what you're saying.
There's no need, as you've probably read, there's no need to go off your medications when you take our formulas. Sometimes they even make the medications work a little better. But there is a point in time where everybody will become aware that, why am I taking a drug for a symptom that I no longer have? And so that's when you'll work with some sort of practitioner to wean off. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I think, for now I will up my magnesium. I've been upping it about a quarter of a teaspoon a day for the last 3 or 4 days. Well, since I think I overdid it in the beginning when I was in the cold and I was having the arrhythmia, and so I think I took too much at once, too soon, thinking that I was needing to up it. I'm not sure, but I definitely got the laxative effect, and so then I backed off a little bit. So I guess it's just a process of me figuring out now what I can take, the highest dose I can take now without getting the laxative effect.
That's right, and it's just slowly going up, sipping it through the day, and just low and slow. But we do recommend people take more fiber, psyllium seed powder. You can email our support at rnareset.com and ask for the FAQ about psyllium fiber to bulk up the stool so that it'll help prevent laxative effect.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate your help.
Okay.
I think that makes me feel better.
I know you're in the middle of having extra AFib. You're on a medication that should be helping. You're on the Remag that should be helping, but you got to give yourself a little bit of a break. You understand now, and the words I said about, look, you burnt off so much Remag, magnesium when you were sick, and your body's trying to get more. You gave it too much. You got the laxative effect. We know what you went through, and if you can just understand that what you went through was quite common, let's say. Our customer service knows about this. You can call in every day this week and talk to someone if you want, just to get reassured.
Okay.
But you're okay. And one of our phrases now is you're healthier than you think. Okay?
Okay. Yes, I really it really helps to talk to you and to get the feedback and comforting, and I guess I needed that support, and I feel like they're, like you said, I'm definitely feeling hopeful and encouraged. And so I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Connie. One of my nicknames is Connie, so I like saying your name. Thank you, Connie. Thanks for calling in, Connie. You'll be fine,
like
Connie.
That. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr.
Care.
Dean. All right.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, welcome back, everybody, or welcome back to me, back into the conversation here. 602-666-6027 is the number to call. If you want to talk to Dr. Dean tonight, Carolyn, I just want to acknowledge that I'm looking at some of our callers, and our very good friend Alice up in Illinois is listening tonight. I love Alice. I met her at the Health Freedom Expo in 2013. She's the sweetest woman in the whole wide world, and I just wanted to say hello, Alice. So hello, Alice. Okay, Carolyn, let's see what else we have going on here. I've got a quick message from Barbara. And then we've got probably to get to other mailbag or other things we have to do. Barbara says, the products have given me a great deal of relief from irritability and agitation. I used to have daily or almost daily episodes in which I became so irritable that sometimes I would scream and throw things. It often happened in the afternoon. I feel that irritability, if I feel that irritability starting up now, I take some extra Remag, and it often provides relief. Thank you so much.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people aren't able to define it that well, to know that, I'm irritable, I better take some Remag. I mean, that is very important. So that's great, Barb. Thank you.
And then Roz typed in and wrote, hi, Ginny, the end portion of my eyebrows have fallen out. Is this a thyroid deficiency? I take Realign and 1.5 teaspoons of Remite every day. Do I need to increase my Remite? If so, by how much? I don't want to overdose on it. I also take 3 teaspoons of Remag plus lotion on calves for cramping, which has recently increased at night. Thank you.
Now this loss of the end part of the eyebrows, gosh, is that thyroid or adrenals? Shoot. It might be thyroid because you have hair loss with the thyroid. If somebody knows out there on the chat, thyroid loss of eyebrows. Let's see what that pulls up. Loss of eyebrows, yeah, it's possible. So I was concentrating on that, and I missed how much. What's the name of the person we're talking to?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Roz. She's on the chat line, and she's doing 1.5 teaspoons of Remite, some Realign, and then she's also taking 3 teaspoons of Remag plus the Remag lotion on her calves at night for cramping.
I would take more, personally, I would take more Remite. I kind of go with a 2 to 1, which means if you're on, well, no, she's 1.5 Remite and 3 to 4 Remag with the lotion. So I would increase the Remite to 2 teaspoons because it's the Remite that helps support the thyroid. And then if it is thyroid that's happening, you do have to look at yeast overgrowth as a possibility because it's the yeast toxins that can block the thyroid. Other things can too, but those are the 2 things that we focus on, the lack of thyroid minerals, which you get in Remite, and the yeast overgrowth. So go there, Roz, and let us know how you do.
Right, very good. Also, I will just share with Roz, Carolyn, remember when my hair was falling out and I didn't know what the heck was going on, and I was freaked out about it completely because I was already taking all the minerals, and I thought, what could this be? I don't know what it was, but I did start using Remag on my scalp, and it stopped. So, Roz, rub a little Remag on your eyebrows. That's what I would do.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I keep forgetting about those things, Remag on the scalp. Okay.
Yeah,
good,
and
good,
the
good.
outer third, Ruthie says the outer third of the eyebrows is classic hypothyroid.
Okay.
And so does Joanne, and so does Jude. Apparently all these gals understand. Wow.
Oh, great. Yeah, outer
Okay.
third, that's what I remember, right, is thyroid. Thank you.
Very good.
Good teamwork.
Excellent. Good teamwork. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. That's what I say. Okay, so I think we're caught up, and what shall we do now?
Well, I still have mailbag, so I'll dive into the mailbag.
Okay, very good.
This testimonial, she says, I thought you, Ginny, and Dr. Dean might be interested to know that I went to my doctor this morning for my 6-monthly diabetes checkup. When I last went, October 2017, my blood sugar levels and cholesterol were all higher than previously, and the nurse told me that this was to be expected as diabetes is progressively worsening disease. Today, after a blood test last week, after only a few weeks taking Remag and Remite, my cholesterol has fallen from 8.3 to 3.5, which is ridiculously awesome. But even more exciting than that, my blood sugars have fallen to 48 millimoles per mole, or it should be nanomoles per mole, I think, which means that I am no longer diabetic, but pre-diabetic, which I haven't been for about 8 years. Apparently 50 is the level at which you're diagnosed diabetic. The doctor was very impressed, so I asked him if he would like to know how I achieved these results. He said yes. So I told him I had been taking magnesium. He smiled and made a comment along the lines that the magnesium might have helped a bit, but clearly he didn't agree that it was the magnesium that was responsible. What is it with mainstream medicine that they have a mental block about anything which they aren't taught in medical school? et cetera, et cetera. So forever grateful for Magnesium Miracle, getting back on the road to good health, something I haven't had for years now. And, she's in New Zealand. That's why the different numbering systems for their blood levels. So that's awesome. Congratulations. Next one, Dr. Dean, I've been taking Remite off and on for 4 weeks. I've noticed that at first all I want to do is lie down and rest, besides working at my job and errands, of course. Now I feel like I could lift weights like I used to. My muscles are starting to loosen up, as they were very tense before I started on the minerals. I wanted to thank you for your research and development of these products. I feel like so many years of my life were wasted now that I'm starting to get better. There's so much I want to experience in my life, and that's a gentleman saying here, I want to experience my life now. I'm on the road to recovery. I'm almost in tears telling you this story. Isn't that sweet? Thank you so much. The next one, Remag lotion. I was getting leg cramps and inner thigh cramps so badly that they propel me out of bed with excruciating pain. I usually take Remite in a quart of water every evening now, and that helps, but I found adding the lotion seems to calm my legs down during the day as well. I also noticed that the foot cramps I was having have subsided since I started using the cream on top of my feet. I've replaced my moisturizing cream with the magnesium cream too. I love the gentle feel it gives my 70-plus-year-old face. Thank you for your brilliance. I tell everyone about your magnanimous magnesium. Now, hopefully we email back to her that taking Remite in a quart of water every evening, I hope she's taking it throughout the day, but she's doing well by adding the Remag lotion. And we do find that a lot, that people do love the transdermal Remag. This is Naomi, our UK distributor. If anyone has anyone in Europe that needs the formulas, we have a wonderful distributor in London. She said, I thought you would like to know. A lady came in a week ago. I had one bottle of Remag that I was saving for anyone in an emergency situation. Anyway, she's having chemo and as a result has restless legs, so I gave her the last Remag. Not 100% sure if it would work, but perhaps chemo depletes magnesium. I advise she start on 2 teaspoons spread throughout the day. That night, no more restless legs, and none since. She's delighted. Now, that's awesome. Testimonial. I went on magnesium about 7 years ago after suffering from 4 months of migraine. At the same time, I had 5 bouts of transient global amnesia, and I've seen a neurologist. No one could help me. I found your book, Magnesium Miracle, and the rest is history. I went on daily doses of magnesium, and I've not suffered from migraine since, and the best news is I have not had a transient global amnesia attack since. So were both migraines and TGA attacks caused by magnesium deficiency? I firmly believe they were. Yeah, that's quite likely. A Facebook book review. This book is worth every penny. It has changed my life and the way I look at other people's health. This is a must-read for anyone who's interested in getting healthier in whatever fashion they desire. My heart palpitations are gone. No more Claritin D every day for my allergies. My lung capacity is much more. I have asthma. I've only been on the products for 1.5 months and look forward to staying on these life-changing products forever. Thank you, Dr. Dean, and your wonderful staff. And another Facebook page. I'm going to stop now. I do have a few more mailbags, but I'm going to stop and see what Ginny has to say, if there's any more chats or phone calls.
Yep, there are some chats and also phone calls, 602-666-6027. If you're on the line and you want to talk to Dr. Dean or you want to call in, You've got to hit *5 on your keypad to let me know you're there, and then I will put you on the line with Dr. Dean. Carolyn chat has said, Gina has said, hello, I've been taking the whole protocol for about 2 months now. I have allergies and asthma, and the first thing I noticed is better lung capacity. It feels so great to breathe easier now. Thank you. So that's awesome. Thank you, Gina. And Diane typed in and said, I take psyllium daily because I need so much magnesium for irregular heartbeats, and I do get the laxative effect. The psyllium helps quite a bit, but I often need to go to the bathroom about an hour or so after I eat. Is that normal? It can be quite inconvenient sometimes.
Yes, I don't know. It sounds like it's normal for you. We do say the REMAG does not cause a laxative effect, but some people prove us wrong for reasons of whatever, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, toxicity, just not being able to sip it throughout the day. We do recommend the psyllium. We ask people to take REMAG lotion to take up some of their oral. It is a matter of going up slowly enough that you're not causing a laxative effect. Some naturopaths say 2 and 3 bowel movements a day are normal. What I'm opposed to is watery bowel movements. That can mean that you're losing some of your other nutrients, including magnesium. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. So chat back and tell us.
Okay, excellent. All right, and also Hope typed in, can magnesium deficiency cause diabetes-like symptoms?
Well, if you listen to our diabetes webinar, the thing about diabetes is in the initial stages and the pre-diabetic stages, it doesn't really cause symptoms. I mean, there's excess urination, which is why diabetics have low magnesium. They urinate it out with their excess urination. Low magnesium in the bloodstream is one of the measures for diagnosing diabetes, although most doctors don't bother with it. They don't look for it. They don't have a good test for it. So what we know is low magnesium is a sign of diabetes, and the way magnesium works, actually, Holly, I'll direct you to the webinar we did on diabetes, because that lays it all out, where we have all the indications of magnesium being used to balance the blood sugar, help the insulin response, keep the cells from becoming insulin resistant. So it's good to look at that to get your answers.
Excellent, very good. Okay, and let's see. Moira in Florida types in, I have 2 questions about yeast overgrowth. 1, I have heard you mention a tea to fight yeast overgrowth. Is it Pau d'Arco or is it La Pacha? Yep.
Same thing.
Pau d'Arco.
Same thing.
And La Pacha are the same. How much should be taken?
I think it's in my yeast reset book. It's standard tea dosing, a teaspoon steeped in a cup of hot water. I think the steeping is only short time is necessary, 5-10 minutes, because it's pretty strong stuff. So same thing, and it is antifungal.
Okay. You suggest avoiding sugar in the yeast overgrowth program. Does this also apply to coconut sugar, stevia, and xylitol?
It applies to coconut sugar. That's still a sugar. Xylitol, I mean, it's like more people think it's okay than not. Stevia seems to be okay. There's a big discussion now. Maybe we should get Barb Schultz in here on it, where some people say, does it stimulate an insulin response? If it does, then that sugar is also feeding yeast. What any sort of sweetener will do, whether it's a natural alternative or sugar, it sets up sugar cravings. It just gets you all excited to eat more. And it is tough. I mean, I know I have to have, even though I'm on the keto diet, I still have to have a bit of carbs. But you know what I found out today when I was buying my frozen raspberries? There's, for a whole cup, there's only like 7 grams of sugar in a whole cup of frozen raspberries. So I only eat maximum a quarter cup with about a quarter cup of heavy cream. So I'm getting just like 2 grams, even less, of carbs and 7 grams of fat. So that's my sugar treat. But I can eat that. That's my 1 serving of berries a day. Berries are low in sugar. So thank you for letting me ramble on about that, Moira.
You're funny. You're funny, you and your berries. Oh, my gosh, that's hilarious. Carolyn and her berries.
Oh, yeah. When I was at Ginny's last month, I was so concerned that I wouldn't have enough heavy whipping cream. Every time we went out, I said, well, we have to buy whipping cream. Because in her super-duper refrigerator, she had this extra compartment on the door that hid all the heavy whipping cream. By the time I left, she had like 6 boxes of heavy whipping cream. Did you ever use them all?
Yeah, they're finally gone. It was hilarious. Oh. Yeah, we did, because we're doing keto too, but it was just cute. She did not know we had our hidden compartment. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I think we're all caught up with everybody. And, Kit says, I have your Realign, but I get burning in my stomach from it. What do you suggest? I would like to take it. Do I cut them in half or take a Tums? So I did
take it with food. Take it with food, food. That's a big thing. It can't burn your stomach if you're taking with food. So let us know if you are or not. And
okay,
Tums,
very good.
Forget Tums. That's calcium carbonate, for Pete's sakes. You don't want that.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so we're caught up, Carolyn. I think we're doing good here. And let's see where we are with our phones. Okay, nobody burning up the telephone this afternoon, so let's go to your mailbag.
Okay, this is from our RNA Reset Facebook page, and everyone, you should get on there and write a testimonial on our RNA Reset Facebook page. That's what people are looking for. That's how people get their information, get their products, is they read Facebook reviews. So do that for us. Go on Amazon, write reviews as well. That will help the world. So Mary Lou says, I'll start by saying I've been a caregiver for a sick spouse for several years, and I know my mind and body are under a lot of stress, which takes its toll. More recently, my physical aches and pains were worsening, leg cramps jolting me awake at night, blood sugar rising, energy level not good. I was getting worried. Then my sister began educating me via the Magnesium Miracle on what might be causing these symptoms and what probably was the cause of my atrial fibrillation diagnosed in my 20s. Remag to the rescue. This is no hoax or placebo effect taking place. I've experienced changes in ways I didn't even know I was having issues with until I started Remag. I thought it was strange that I was remembering my dreams until I understood what changes were taking place while I slept. If you're curious about that, I suggest reading the book. I could go on, but suffice to say I'm a 53-year-old female who has a more positive outlook for my physical being, and I'm experiencing immense satisfaction sharing my new gained knowledge with those suffering around me. As of today, I've added 3 more products to my daily routine and look forward to increasing wellness. Thank you, Dr. Dean, and all at RNA Reset. Very sweet. Thank you, Mary Lou. Another Facebook page, Jimmy. I've been using this for about 3 weeks. I guess they mean Remag. I feel so good. I can't believe how much better I feel. My teeth are whiter. My skin is clearer. I am already eating gluten-free, but I've lost weight without really changing a lot about my diet. I feel clarity of my mind and energy. One of my favorite things is how I seem to be able to find contentment more easily. Peaceful, happy, healthy, good. Awesome. Another Facebook. I've learned how important magnesium is and tried about every chelation combo on the market. There was some small benefit, but I knew none were doing what mag saturation levels would provide. I found Remag, and it changed my life. I absorb it all, which is huge for me as I have malabsorption issues, and I feel the difference more and more each day. I sleep better. My eye twitches stopped. I never have leg cramps, no restless legs. Depression is lifting. The list goes on. I can't say enough good things about this product. I don't ever want to be without it. I also added their Remite for minerals and found the same thing, never getting as many benefits as when I took any brand of pills. I'm grateful for these products, and all we're doing is supporting the structure and function of the body and filling the body up with the minerals it needs to prevent mineral deficiencies. That's all we're doing here. I'm so glad Dr. Dean is addressing this issue. I have Hashimoto's hypothyroidism. I've been taking Remag and Remite, and I feel it is helping me. But I also take additional zinc per my nutritionist based on lab tests. My nutritionist is a PhD, very knowledgeable, so I trust him. I think I read this before. Do you remember, Jenny, if I can haul you back in here?
Yes, I think you did read it last week.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was about being told to take more zinc, and I said just slowly increasing the Remag is really going to be the helpful thing for a person to do. And since that's at the end there, I actually have no more mailbag. We have
okay, excellent.
There. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, excellent. Well, then let's go into a little bit, and also I just want you to know that Kit wrote back and said that she is taking it with food. But then Louise said, I thought it was hurting my stomach too, but then I started pouring it out of the capsule into my magnesium shake with fruit and almond milk, and I didn't have any more issues.
Right.
So that's sweet. Yeah, a lot of
just
people put their Realign in their smoothie.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I've never had a problem with it, but everybody's different, and thank goodness there are people on the chat who can chime in and help us all out. Thank you.
Okay, so Carolyn, let's talk about this for a minute. Next Monday, we are doing the Doctor to Doctor series. Again, for everybody who's new, listening for the first time, this is when Dr. Dean we have another doctor comes on and talks with Dr. Dean for the first hour or two, or whatever length of time it is, about their particular emphasis in medicine or their knowledge base, and we share that information for, of course, free, because the radio show's free, at no charge with our customers and listeners. So next week, we are going to have a fabulous and fascinating gentleman on, and I was hoping maybe you could talk about him for a minute.
Dr. Andrew Saul, he's a PhD. Now, let me look him up because I first started meeting him in Canada, and I don't know if he's a Canadian or not. He was involved with the orthomolecular medical group with Dr. Abram Hoffer up in Canada, so I'd meet him at these Canadian conventions. And Dr. Abram Hoffer, he was a psychiatrist, and he started using high-dose vitamins with his psychiatric patients and had incredible results. And it's the Empower Plus that sort of continues on that type of work. I don't know if they did it consciously or not, but the Empower Plus puts together a whole bunch of vitamins and minerals and even amino acids, and you take anywhere from 8, 10, 12, 15 of these pills. All of them have this formula packed into them. So Andrew Saul, he's if I didn't say, he's a PhD. He's written a lot of kind of self-help books. He's so awesome that he has a daughter who followed in his footsteps, Helen Saul. Now she's married since, and she's had children, and she writes books about children's health and writes blogs about how to give children their vitamin C to prevent them from getting vaccine effects if you have to vaccinate. I mean, she does wonderful things. Dr. Saul does wonderful things, and he's got a great sense of humor as well. So he's big on vitamin C. It's like the whole Linus Pauling high-dose vitamin C world, this orthomolecular medicine. He's the editor of the orthomolecular newsletter. We put out press releases all the time. I don't know if I'll do it on the show, but I have challenged him by email. Well, you're doing high-dose vitamin C. It's ascorbic acid. What about vitamin C complex, the importance of that? So we may or may not get into that. On one of his websites, dryourself.com, he's got dozens of books that he's written and that have been translated. So he's doing his work. We should ask him about a movie that he was involved with. I'm trying to find it here. We'll ask him about the movie, Ginny. But yes, he's with the Orthomolecular Medicine News Service, and we put out information to help people around their nutrient intake. So, are those enough words to start with?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And I think, what do you think the customers will get a chance to hear about? What are they going to be interested in?
It's hard to say because he's written so much, but a lot of it could be about vitamin C. We can talk about that. I do recommend the ascorbic acid C myself to support the adrenal glands, for example, but also some food-based C. If we look at his books, he's got Dr. Yourself. Oh, here it is. The movie is called That Vitamin Movie. I want to hear about that. Vegetable Juicing for Everyone, The Vitamin Cure, for infant and toddler health problems, The Vitamin Cure for Depression, Fire Your Doctor, How to Be Independently Healthy, Vitamin C, The Real Story, The Vitamin Cure for Alcoholism, I Have Cancer, What Should I Do, Food Matters. Yeah, he's eclectic. But a lot of it is high-dose vitamins. I'm sure, well, I know he's interested in magnesium. I wrote a press release on magnesium for us. So we'll see. We'll see what he wants to talk about.
Okay, very good. Iri, IRI, typed in, I am new to these webinars. I've been pleased with taking Remag for the last 5 months. When I submitted a question for tonight about avoiding loose stools, if I increase Remag to ease insomnia, Ginny mentioned water with sea salt. I guess Ginny is suggesting a solution to put the Remag into a drink. What proportions of sea salt to water is good? Thank you.
Well, that you probably read in the first bits of literature we send, or maybe we send them in every box. That's my water guidelines. What you do is take your weight in pounds, divide that in half, and drink that many ounces of water a day, because when you take minerals, your body will need more water. And then in each quart of water that you're drinking, you put a quarter teaspoon of a good sea salt. A good sea salt is one that has some color to it, pink or orange or dark gray, medium gray. And that will give you the 72 minerals that are in sea salt. And in one of those quarts, I recommend putting your daily dose of Remag and Remite and then sip that through the day so that you don't just take your magnesium in shots, which can overload your cells and may then go out in the stool. And then you also might have heard us talking about doing psyllium seed powder as a way to bulk up the stools. So we have a few ways around the laxative effect. And you can email support@rnareset.com if you need a little more input.
Okay, excellent, very good. Excellent. Okay, live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on achieveradio.com. And let's see. Oh, here's Joanne typed in. She said, realign bothered my stomach at first, but then I did the yeast diet for 2 months, and now I take 2 realign a day and no problems.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow. I wonder what's happening there. The yeast in the stomach somehow reacting with B vitamins and the methionine and taurine. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, the amino acids are sulfur based, so sulfur foods. I wonder if the people who are getting a bit of burning, if they react to onions and broccoli, Brussels sprouts, things that are high sulfur content. Don't know. But it's interesting that people have different solutions. Thank you.
Excellent. Wonderful. Okay. Let's see, anybody on the phones too? We will just check that one more time. Okay, so we've got that coming up, and what other things do we want to talk about? I was absolutely stunned when I saw the number of webinars that we've done, Carolyn, since last year.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think Chad's going to put out a blog about our webinars, and I think is it in April? The next month we're all traveling and we're not going to be available for webinars. Is that the case?
Yes, April we won't be doing a webinar, correct. It'll be May.
Right, and then May, our first Monday in May, we're going to have the amazing, inimitable Dr. Christiane Northrup, who's actually going to grace our show with her presence. She's awesome. She's totally in love with our completement formulas. She's taking all of them, so she's going to be on the show. And then we will have a May webinar on anxiety because Dr. Northrup is going to be talking about her latest book, Energy Vampires. And what I think of energy vampires, I generalize on it and think everything that makes you feel less than, makes you feel a little bad, makes you feel anxious, just makes you feel less than you want to be is an energy vampire. But I'm going to get the book. It's going to be in print, or I've pre-ordered it. I think it's going to be out in the next couple of weeks. Do you recall, Ginny?
Yes, it's called. Yes, it is. It's out in the middle of April. Yep.
Okay, good. So I'll get it. I'll Kindle it and read it before the show. So that'll be awesome to have Christiane on the show. We're really looking forward to that. And in the meantime, we just want people to realize you're healthier than you think, and that sounds like an oxymoron, but that's what we're banking on. I think I had a clinician once who tried to dress me down for being positive about all my patients. I guess he knew that everyone was just going to take their medicines and die, but I felt very positive because I know that we all have awesome goodness sometimes below the surface, and that means awesome health. We have our our appropriate DNA that and a body that is a genius and just wants the building blocks. So we're here to give the building blocks, and we want you to be more positive about your health and realize that the worst is over. You've hit on a solution with us, and we're here to help you along. Even if you feel it's not helping you, we'll change that attitude, because I know for a fact that people don't start feeling really well until they're more than 50-60% better. So as long as you're in the beginning of your protocol, you're not feeling 100% better, you're going to think, well, nothing's working. But it's a matter of kind of stepping outside of yourself and realizing that, you're healthier than you think. Right, Ginny?
Absolutely. That is absolutely correct. 100%. And we started laughing about it last year when our friends at the Alphabet Agency said, you have to supplements are only for healthy people. And we're like, well, what's healthy? And we said, well, it must be if you're alive, you're healthy, right? Because that would be the opposite. Right. So we're like, well, if you're alive, if your heart's beating, if your brain's functioning, if you're going, then you're healthy. So you are healthier than you think. And somebody was teasing me today because they heard me say on one of the shows that I always kiss the palm of my hands and tell my body how much I love it. But I do. And, yep, you are always healthier than you think, and you've always got so much unlimited potential in your body. So on that, we will end the show, Carolyn. It was a great show.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful getting to chat with you. Bob fell asleep, so he didn't intercede. Thank you for not interceding, Bob. Bye, Ginny. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Ginny. Good
Bye,
show.
Bill.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, everybody.
It's more simple than that. You have a physical body. Your physical breathing, blood pumping, mucus creating physicality that has access to non-physical. And everyone has that inside them. That's how the coroner can tell if you're deceased or not.
And Marilyn